Oh, finally, it is time for Ray Files' Dark episode. The sun's going down sooner. This is Ray Files episode 64, or 62, or 3, or 5. It's one of them, though. Definitely one of them. Probably. But here I am, walking. I'm sorry this is so late in the week. Must have slipped my mind. I had a lot of things to do this week, but tonight I just have one project to finalize, and then I'm kind of home free for the weekend, which is pretty nice. Oh, I gotta set up some things. Oh, lots of stuff on my mind, but anyway, I'll think about those later. What should we talk about? Should I talk about some personal philosophies? I could do that. There's, I think I'm a weird kind of person. Election day was yesterday. But still things aren't clear. It's a very close race. And I don't know. I don't really know how I feel. Like, I obviously voted one way. Well, I guess not obviously, because you have the right to vote or not. But I chose to. I don't know. It just, like, so I guess I do have a stake in it, right? And it will affect my life to some degree, whoever is picked. But I feel like a lot of people put way too much pressure on this choice. Like way more than needs to be there. And I don't know if it's... I don't really know what it is about me that I just don't feel so attached. I think it's a mix between my parents. So my mom has always held like this semi-Taoist view of just kind of going with whatever happens. And like you throw your pebble in, but like you can't control the wind with your pebble. That was a good metaphor, Ray. And my dad has always been very political and thinks very politically, but he doesn't share his feelings, his sorrows, his gladness. He's just private about it, which I think is the way to do it, although a lot of people don't do it that way. They're very loud about their political opinions. But why? I don't know. I feel like if you're too loud about your opinions, it's very easy to find other people who are loud and to be loud with them. And once you find people who are like you, this is a problem with modernizing and technology. Once you find people who are with you, which is now easier than ever to do, you ignore possible causes for change in your own life. Like say you really like eating wild mushrooms, you're gonna find someone else who really likes it too. But now say that the people who like eating wild mushrooms hate the people who like to feed cats milk. I don't know what I'm saying. Just saying people are different. But if you kept to yourself in the first place, I'm not saying that you should keep everything to yourself, because at some point you have to express your feelings, and you live in a world where people exist and humans are social. So you have to share feelings and ideas so that we can grow as a society. But I feel like current politics have devolved into screaming matches for something. And I don't really know what the universal desires are, and I don't really think that there are any, actually. But there's no listening. It's just my way or the highway. And like, it's kind of like a refusal to acknowledge your adversary. And if you refuse to acknowledge your adversary, then why would they acknowledge you? It's just kind of a positive feedback loop that leads to more suffering. And speaking of suffering, I mean, even just worrying about what's going on is just needless suffering. Like, so I guess I'll circle this up. So at the very beginning, I said that I felt like I wasn't going to feel too affected regardless of the candidate who got picked. And then I talked about, yes, it will affect me, of course, but like I'm not going to be anxious over it or let myself drown in it. Because it's just kind of like wanton suffering to let yourself get wrapped up in this decision that won't affect you in a huge way necessarily. I mean, it can. It definitely can affect you in a huge way. But I feel like our system of government is so geared towards people's say in it that if you let one person, even if they're the president, but if you let one person dictate how your life is lived, you aren't trying hard enough. I don't know. That probably sounds insensitive, and it's not very well thought out. So if you have gripes with that, then that's understandable. But like there's always an outlet or a loophole or somewhere to go. And I mean, this kind of tugs on the issue of equal opportunity, and does that exist in the US, which it probably doesn't. But we're working on it. But anyway, I just think that you can't let one person dictate so much to how you live your daily life, and you can't suffer over it. And if you really are worried about these things, then there are so many ways, especially for college students, who are the people I talk with and who are very loud around me. There are so many ways for college students to get involved and change things. Volunteering, like any sort of political internship. There's just so many things that you can do to fight for the causes you believe in that have nothing to do with who the president is, that can make a difference and change people's lives for the better. There's always something you can do for that. So that's why I guess I'm not really too worried about the president, because it's not going to change who I am, and it's not going to change who you guys are. It's just going to change who is leading the country, I guess. So that's my episode for today. I think the whole thing is like an editorial, so I won't include, screw it. Editorial section of this episode is eat some ice cream. If it's cold where you are, drink some hot cocoa. You'll feel better. Don't go nuts. Moderation is key. Refer to an earlier one where I talk about that. I'm pretty sure that's a thing. But talk to you next time. Sorry for the late episode. Sorry for the long episode. Sorry for talking about politics. I don't like to get too into it on my channel. But yep, there we go. I hope your candidate wins, whoever you believe in.